Star Wars Battlefront, the Classic Collection, a re-release of Battlefront and Battlefront 2, two highly regarded Star Wars games from 2004 and 2005 respectively, and only a few weeks ago it was announced that they would be porting this game to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S and PC in a collection to, I guess, make it more compatible with more modern technology. Naturally, many people were excited due to fond nostalgia playing these games back when they were new, and the best part was from announcement the wait wouldn't be terribly long, with a 14th of March release date, despite only being announced on the 21st of February. However, things appear to have gone incredibly modern gaming very quickly. For instance, people on Steam are absolutely ripping this game to pieces with overwhelmingly negative reviews. There appears to be a state of outrage surrounding this re-release of two 20-year-old titles, and it probably goes a bit beyond controversy surrounding an asking price. Clearly, something else has gone wrong here. But what? Well, let's just say Aspyr Media Incorporated's re-release of the Battlefront games has launched with some rather severe teething issues. We're talking bugs, glitches, a lack of overall server availability on PC versions, where apparently at launch there were only 3 actual servers available, and if there's 64 players to a lobby, that means that less than 200 people could play online at a time, and that's against the thousands that probably tried. And though I hear that issue in particular is resolving, it's probably not enough to stop the onslaught of internet crucifixion now. Sure, there are story modes that people can play in the meantime while things get sorted out as far as the multiplayer is concerned, but there are a lot of people out there who only bought this collection simply because they liked Battlefront's multiplayer to begin with, and that was their main selling point. Especially the notion of 64-player lobbies. And when a title launches, it's reasonable from the people who purchase those games that they expect an at least somewhat functional experience. And it would appear as if the glaring server issues aren't the only problems this game has faced thus far, such as the seemingly unnecessarily massive game files, and also the fact that despite having 64-player lobbies, it appears as if the ticket count hasn't increased or been adjusted with it, so the matches are just really short. I've also seen footage where the game volume has been turned down manually by the player, only for them to still receive deafening, strange noises. And apparently there are also story mode cutscenes missing, especially with Battlefront 2. Apparently the controls are also a bit dodgy, and all of that is incredibly deflating to read. With the way modern games are going, you'd expect a nostalgic re-release to probably be the most excited a lot of these people will be for any game all year. And though that's not actually a good thing when you put it in its context, it goes to show just how bad things are looking on a broader scale for anyone who enjoys playing games recreationally. Obviously there are issues that these games need a mass player base to actually troubleshoot, and that is appreciated and understood. But the extent of issues being experienced for an effective re-release of 2 classic titles which you can buy independently for around half the price of this collection, and then still be saving money even if you bought the EA Battlefront titles along with it, is certainly understandably irritating to many. But worse yet, a bloke named Kevin has beat us all to the simulations joke. Do I reckon these concerns raised by players will be addressed long term? Yeah, I reckon it'll work out, as Aspyr released this statement regarding the state in which the Battlefront Classic Collection was released. We'd like to thank the Battlefront community for their overwhelming support and feedback for the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection release. At launch, we experienced critical errors with our network infrastructure. The result was incredibly high ping, matchmaking errors, crashes, and servers not appearing in the browser. Since launch, we've been working to address these issues and increase network stability, and we will continue our efforts until our network infrastructure is stabilized to prevent further outages. Please continue to report bugs, errors, or unexpected behaviours to our support team. I can't say that'll fix all of the re-release's issues, but I can picture down the line people will only have to weigh up whether or not the asking price is worth the convenience. Oh, and the file size. I don't see that coming down though. I have no clue why the files are so big, but there you go. This Aspyr statement also didn't really address or maybe even avoided addressing some of the other problems this re-release has faced. Probably could have done with an apology regarding the state of the game on launch, and perhaps it wouldn't have hurt to touch down on the dodgy controls, the apparent bugginess, missing features such as cutscenes, etc., because the Battlefront Classic Collection certainly has more problems on its hands than just server-related problems, but I suppose on that front actions speak louder than words. Nonetheless, yesterday was a fumbled release date, and players are more than within their rights to express bemusement. And it certainly doesn't help that this isn't Aspire's first time getting on the wrong side of fans of old Star Wars games, as I believe there was a bit of umming and ahhing about a Nintendo Switch port of KOTOR 2. So maybe certain people could also see these problems coming, I don't know. So that's more or less the situation summarised for what feels like the 100th re-release in the games industry in the past 6 months, and maybe that's a problem within itself. Apparently making new games has become so challenging that cashing in on nostalgia and somehow messing that up is preferable. Now, if you want my opinion, I personally believe that a game should not be releasing in a state where it doesn't work. That said, I understand there are issues that you need a mass player base to be able to troubleshoot or even detect to begin with, and those happen. So there's a margin for those, but when people are reporting that the game just won't behave itself and they can't enjoy it as a result of the problems they're facing, that's when this outrage happens, and that appears to be the case here. This isn't the only time Aspire has come under fire since the announcement of this Battlefront collection, even though that was less than a month ago. There was something to do with using modded footage in the trailer. That was weird. But I'd love to know your thoughts on the situation, if indeed you'd call it one. I hear a lot of people have been getting refunds over this one, and fair enough, it doesn't appear to be an ideal situation. But regardless, I'm going to end this video here because I want to move on to a project that might actually be worth your time. So I tried to keep this video as brief as possible. I hope you appreciate that. Thank you all for watching what is effectively me very briefly talking bollocks. I'll see you soon.